This is your main man, Andrew. We're coming back. And today, I'm going to be talking about Pathfinder Society. Now, my friends and I went to a convention in Williamsburg, Virginia in the middle of January. We played in Pathfinder Society. None of us had ever played Pathfinder Society before. So this is going to be a video of my first impressions. I'll show you the character. We didn't have characters for Pathfinder Society, so we all had characters. The guy had a big binder full of pre-made characters, so he just gave us a choice of those. I told the guys, so there was a guy running it named Mike, and there was some other guy, buddy of his, playing. Then there was the Moon and Chris were playing for my gaming group and me. So I just looked at Moon and Chris. I said, you guys pick. I'll play what you guys want. And they said, we'll play a Paladin, of course. They want to stick me with a Paladin. All right, so I got to be lawful good. So I'm playing a Paladin. And they're both these straight bastard characters. One's playing a bard, and the other's playing a rogue, and they're just dicking me around. I'm going to show you why they were able to do that. So they looked at the paladins, and they were like almost all those characters for some reason were human, which is odd to me. I guess that's easier for most people to understand. And they looked at them, all the paladins were human except for one. They said, "Oh, half orc, that's all about you." I said, "Well, a half orc, I can get with a half orc. You know I love a half orc. You go watch my video, half orc, not a jack orc, and I'm trying to enjoy half orcs quite a bit. They are my favorite race out of the player's handbook races. I think half orcs are quite awesome. So, you know, at least it gave me something. It did have a drawback, though, and I'm going to show you. Now, I spent literally about 4 seconds making my name. Krylos of the Far West. I don't know, Galorian, or they may have not even said it right. So I said, well, where are we playing over here? Well, I'll be really far away from that, so I don't have to know the city, because I don't know the city, and I want to be from out of town. That's going to make more sense. Give it a shot. All right. And Krylos. Again, that's 4 seconds. I usually spend about an hour making a name. I think names are incredibly important for characters, but, you know, that was not something we're going to come back to, so no need to invest overly there. I did, however, actually invest in spending some time looking through the Book of Gods, and if you're going to play a religious character, you got to have a god. You got to know who it is. You can't be like, I worship a god. Who? Leave me alone. So I picked Erastil, which is apparently not a particularly normal god for paladins. But that's the one I picked. So, you know, there's a bunch of pages here. I'll show you Ken's character too. I had 2 skill points. I have a rank of diplomacy and a rank of sense motive. Those were my skill points. I had 2 skill points. I'll do a video on what I think about Pathfinder's system at some point, I guess, if anybody wants to hear my thoughts on Pathfinder's system. But, right here, you can see even I have a height of 5'11" and a weight of 241 pounds. You can see my stats: 17 strength, 10 dexterity, 14 calling, 8 intelligence. This is the first time in forever. Intelligence is almost universally the stat I do not job. I do not like a low intelligence at all. I don't like playing a dimwit. A 7 intelligence, you're literally mentally retarded. I don't really. Unless my whole goal is to play a mentally retarded individual, I don't want to just be like, oh, by the way, I'm mentally retarded. I didn't really put any thought into that. I'm mentally retarded, so I'm going to... it's not just an, oh, by the way. You know, for me, I need a high intelligence for a character unless I specifically am trying to play for the interaction, because having a low intelligence really can dictate so much about a character of all the stats. You know, it really makes, it's a giant role-playing thing. There's a vast difference between a dimwit, someone with an 8 intelligence, or someone who is very intelligent, like a 16. You know, vast difference, and a vast difference in how you need to role-play that person. So, the players who were smart, were straight bastards, too, were just taking advantage of me left and right. We did this deal where they were like, doing something scandalous, because I was like, oh, we have to go do this good thing. Oh, I have a 10 wisdom and a 16 charisma. I have, some feats or something, I don't know. I had a long sword too. I was like, ugh, a long sword. And I hate the long sword. I didn't really realize until after we kind of got into it a little bit. I was like, I almost should ask a guy, can I train it to a warhammer or something? But I wasn't really sure if the weapons which weapons are the same, which weapons aren't in Pathfinder. And I was like, well, screw it. It actually has all the stats written out here, so I won't have to try to figure out and use the wrong stat for a warhammer or something. So I just kept it. That's the first time I've used a longsword. I don't even know. I definitely haven't at any point. AD&D was the last time I used a longsword. Not a fan of the genericness. I had a scale mail, too, apparently, and a heavy steel shield. I had a halfway decent armor class. Smite in Pathfinder really allowed me to just open up a can with this character. Here's my man, Nospeace, many of you do know. He does post them. Here's his character, Vane. Haha, everyone gets to sheet gauge their character, Nos, you piece of trash. You can see he's playing some Inquisitor, human, and one thing I really don't like with Pathfinder, they changed. They took wisdom away from Paladin. So I'm playing a Paladin right with a 10 wisdom because I do need a wisdom. There's no a role playing, not role playing, but spin the dice. There's no min-maxing reason to have any kind of wisdom on a Paladin anymore. Paladins need wisdom. Otherwise, you will get duped by that evil character. They will lead you around by the nose, up, down, and over. I had a 10 wisdom. I was like, well, I guess when the thief was just blatantly robbing me, so he's like just coming around and robbing me. I was like, well, there's no way my character with his 2 skill points and 10 wisdom would even notice a thief. He's got to, I got to sell for that. So he's just like taking my money. I'm trying to make him pay for something and pay him for the stuff with my money. I'm like looking at the coin, like, that's the same kind of coin from my land. Because remember, I'm from the far west. I said, oh, you have traveled there before. He's like, he didn't miss a beat. Like, oh, yeah, I was there. I was like, oh, well, you did not tell me this. So, we had that. But my buddy Rob had played a cleric, and when he came in the game, I made the game quite fun. He made him a better. He's a cleric, like a good guy. He made him a better. Because we were doing this deal with like this orphanage, and he's like, show me the children. Yes, it's glorious. And of course, he's a priest, right? I'm a good guy. I'm a paladin. So I'm selling for him. Like, oh, this guy's wonderful. He's finally come. And these other 2 guys are complete scum I'm with. And my character at least knows they're scum. So this holy man, molest children, is there. And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to sell for him and like put him over and like, yes, Father, let me take you over to the children. And he's really, getting his whole role playing thing going. Let me see them. Let me put their hands in my business. It was quite creepy. And if there had been more people we didn't know at the table, I'm sure they would have been quite creeped out by him. I would have too, but Frank the Rapist was lurking around behind me. So, and that's quite literal. He really was, at that time, lurking around behind me. So, you can't really pay attention to what's in front of you. If Frank the Rapist is behind you, I guarantee you, that's where you want to have your eye. Yeah, because he came over for like 10 minutes or so, was talking. And, overall it was fun. I was with a party of complete scum. The game itself, okay, it's kind of like aping a role-playing game. Pathfinder Society, D&D Encounters. D&D Encounters information I have largely is from your game master, or your dungeon master, DM Johnny. So, go flame him for this. Those Encounters fans, those Encounters participants. I don't participate in that. I don't like the 4th edition. And that's certainly from everything you told me, and from a few things that other people have told me, boy, definitely not for me. But really what I want to say, I don't want to just knock this stuff and be negative and like, oh, fuck you for playing these games. No. I'm just saying what I want to tell you, because I know there's going to be someone that comes across this video at some point that says, that's all they've played. That's all they know. That's what they think defines role-playing games. That is what a role-playing game is to them. And I want to say, no, it's not. It is only a small, tiny, very, very tightly confined box. The creative continuum of all the minds of the assembled entities and individuals in your group can produce vastly superior game content, game time, enjoyment than this can. Definitively. Something that I really want to put over to people. This is only a small box. You can do a lot more with the products of role-playing games than this. This should not be looked at as definitive of Dungeons & Dragons. It should not be looked at as definitive of a role-playing game. Please believe me on that. Now, the guy running it did a good job for what it was. He had his hands tied. He said at one point, he took the module and was, whoa! You guys have got completely off page. And they're like, oh, yeah? All right. Would you give us options? We're going to role-play, we're going to do things. And we took a long time to play. In our group, you give us 15 minutes of material, it's going to get stressed because we are there to role play. We're to talk to each other, antagonize. Particularly, you're kind of feeling the roles out. Okay, who's going to be the dick? Who's going to be the good guy? Who's going to be the buffoon? Which is me, because I made intelligence. So it was really interesting to see that in the game. That, like I said, the guy handled it well. And I think if he'd played his own material, if he'd had his own stuff, he could probably do quite a good job. I would have played with him. I'd give him another shot as a game master. I would have even played another one of that game, but we found Game of Thrones. We found some other stuff we actually really wanted to play. So, there was no, coming back from Pathfinder Society, of course. But the game, part of the reason it's limited is everyone has this sort of same plot line, like a video game. You start here, and you keep working your way up to here. And now, let's say, here's where a big problem comes in. We're actually role-playing. We're actually talking about things. I take this character into, well, that's actually Ken's. But fuck it, I have it. So I can take Ken's character into another game, right? And now I take my character into another game, and I'll say, all right, this is what has occurred to me, this orphanage and this woman. They're like, oh, wait a minute. We were at that orphanage with that woman. She was horrible. No, there was no pederast priest there, but, they go through the same thing, the orphans and everything, and it'll have slightly different nuances and details, because apparently we went off the page a bit, but it's the same thing. And they'd be like, what has happened? What strange sorcery has commanded all the will of the gods to have had you, and you, all with different individuals at different times? No, exactly the same time. How did we do this? What is the possibility? That's an enormous problem. That is an enormous problem. You should never have things that you just can't talk about, like your whole entire backstory, like everything that's happened to you previously from the time the module that you're currently playing started. When you don't have that, that is an enormous problem. That is untenable. Untenable in any way, shape, or form. So I could not, in any good conscience tell someone that is what a role-playing game is. It is aping a role-playing game. It is pretending to be a role-playing game. It is largely closer to a tabletop version of a computer game. We all start off in this prison in Baldur's Gate, and wait a minute, I started off in a prison in Baldur's Gate with a bunch of people, just like that. How is that possible? I don't know. I did too over here in this other game. What? You have that kind of thing. It's like, wait a minute. How am I supposed to suspend disbelief? Without suspending disbelief, how are you supposed to play on anything? But the fact that, by the nature of what it is it has to be kind of set up like that. I'm not trying to bash pies. I'm not trying to say, oh, this is horrible. I'm not trying to bash a counter. I'm not trying to bash 3.5 D&D version of that with the Greyhawk Living deal. All I'm trying to do with this, with my first impressions here, is tell anyone who's only played that style, making sure it's very, very clear. If you're having a good time with it, hey, keep going back, having a good time, meet people, and try to push it up to the next level. Try to actually have people create their own stuff where you're not boxed in like that. I definitely think it's a much better deal to have the same core going through all the stuff. If you do that, that's definitely going to help a lot. But when you just roll up in another game with other people who've done the same things, you can't really get past that, But overall, that's my main point here. And I really want to just say that again, that it's not the scope of a role-playing game. This is a very beginning, very basic, very simplistic approach for that. And do not think that you are limited in a role-playing game to this style. You can do vastly, vastly more. This is only really a manufactured attempt to just get you in the door, to get something started, get something to talk about. And for being that and what it is there, that's good. You're drawing more people in. Hopefully the product presented is just good enough to keep their interest to going on up and over to the next level of gaming. Hopefully there aren't too many people turned away by this level of product. And again, for what it was, there seemed to be some role-playing put in there. There seemed to be some different things, some interesting stuff. It wasn't too terribly bland. So I have to give them some credit for coming up with that. I played one time in 3.5 D&D's version of it, the Living Greyhawk, and I thought the Pathfinder Society was better. But then again, the guy running the game was heads and shoulders better than the guys running the D&D game. I mean, that guy was horrendous. So overall, if you're looking for a serious role-playing game, if you're a real serious gamer of that style, don't play this. You're not going to be happy with it. Just don't. You won't enjoy it. If you're new to the hobby, you're trying to get some more experience, you're trying to meet people, you're trying to make that network of gaming, yeah, give it a try. It might be to your taste. If you played before and you liked it, let me know what you liked about it. Let me know how you experienced it. Let me know if you played other games and you found this to be better, worse, on par. what your experiences were. I'm interested to hear about that from more people. And there you go. So those are my first impressions. If you guys want to hear a review, I've been thinking about doing one of Pathfinder, although it would be quite old at this point, I suppose. But if you want to hear your main man's views on that society, or on that role-playing game versus 3.5, let me know that too.